Aloha! Great job today. So, once again, take a deep breath, slow down the processes. You and I both think awfully fast. So the concept behind that is our brains right now are moving faster than our fingers are. So what we need to do is just take deep breaths and slow this process down. So quick recap on what we're doing. I'll hold the instrument up here. We're generally going to be talking about 1, 2, 3, and 4. When we're doing our spider exercises, going down, 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 directly in the middle. And then when we get to this one, if we haven't gotten our fingers to do this from the, feels like there's to the side and then that pinky's not able to move a lot, the extension. The concept is our thumb wants to be exactly up and down in the middle. So one of the great things we could do is we could take the instrument back to the back, hold it at like the 8th or 12th, and then pinch it so we're not dropping it. Notice how I'm holding it in the air. When I loosen this, you see how it slips a little bit. Where it's not falling out of your hand, but it's just slipping just a tiny bit. That's about the amount of pressure we need for a bar chord. And the way we get that pressure is so our thumb and our finger are exactly lined up. Now, I know that you know that the thumb and the middle finger line up perfectly and the thumb and the pointer finger is just ever so slightly off. So the concept is pick one spot on the back of your neck that you really enjoy. If need, put a felt dot on the back and keep your thumb on there always, straight up and down, boop, right in the middle. If I were to put a little dot right here on my thumb, that's where it would be. Some people play with the nub, some people just put the tippy top. Just depends. Me personally, I don't even use the thumb anymore. I create bar chords and let this thumb float behind right here, and then every once in a while bring it out for a low bottom note, like a D major with an F sharp. Other than that, when we're moving through these notes of a spider exercise, what we've noticed is these notes will have all four going all the way up if we keep straight and our elbows floating, meaning not dug into our crotch or our belly or anything. We have a full breath of air and we're looking straight rather than looking over and down. What happens is we get better posture, and it's much easier to create that 1 to 4, 1 to 5 kind of movement and then be able to stretch. One of the exercises we do, and we're actually doing in intermediate to advanced, is feeling 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 8, 1, 9, 1, 10, 1, 11, 1, 12, 12. The concept of that is it gives you spatial awareness of everything. Another thing we can do is, like, if we have a dreadnought, go hi-ya. Where we put down our hand, we can know that our first finger is always going to go to that same fret. So on this particular guitar, anytime I go to here and drop this finger, it's going to be a bar chord at the 10th fret, giving me a D major. These are things that I get to know my instrument about. So with you and your Taylor, put it up there, kia, chop against there, and see where your finger, first finger, falls, so you always have spatial awareness. The concept of doing 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5 is just a vertical spider. It allows us to have fretboard recognition without actually having to look at the unit. Notice how I'm looking at the video doing this, and it's easy. But even if I close my eyes, I know exactly how far to move those fingers. So go slow. Try and practice 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 24 opportunities, and then back to the beginning. When asking me how long you should play, if you can do spider exercises like this, and what I'm exhibiting is I could go from one point of the fretboard, which is the first fret on the E string, the 6th string, it gives me an F note, and I follow up F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B flat or A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and all the way back down. Now, you don't need to know what those are, but here's where the switch comes. If you can keep these fingers going all the way from top to bottom, doing downstrokes with the hand like this, then we change those to doing upstrokes. Upstrokes are way harder, but the idea is I'm never really going to do a lot of single upstrokes, but it's good to know how to do that. It gives you spatial awareness on this other plucking hand. See my hand over here on this side? And then we switch that from just the up into doing variations. Right now, since I've been doing this, and my hand's still kind of healing itself, my hand hurts. I've only been doing the spider exercise for less than 5 minutes. Keeping out the same beat, making sure every single note comes out, doing all downstrokes. Just switch to the upstrokes. And I would do upstrokes, maybe 6, 7 of these spider exercises when doing warm-ups. And then eventually I switch into my final type of strumming, which is I'm really wanting to get you to. I just want to make sure your upstrokes and your downstrokes are super strong and that you can get from one point of the to another. Because this spatial awareness thing is a very important thing. Eventually, we're going to be talking about 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and pentatonics, which rely on us knowing 1, 2, 3, and 4 fret, first finger on first fret, second finger on second fret, third finger on third fret, fourth finger on fourth fret. When we get a spatial awareness for this, we realize that our finger is an extension and then the open's an extension. The next quadrant goes to the 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we would practice spider exercises the same fashion, but honestly there's no reason to unless you're just doing fretboard recognition. To know that in a spider exercise from the 5 that your third finger all the way up on the E string gives you a B note, then a B sharp or a C. If you want to know what those are, sure. But if you're playing music that has like it's a chord, but it made a melody because it was going up a minor third. To know how to go a minor third, we've already practiced that. So if you have your pinky on a shape, like over here, and then you move your pinky up to that, you now have used your spider exercise to do a completely different exercise, but it utilizes what we've already set the foundation for. So go slow, take deep breaths, do all downstrokes, try upstrokes, and eventually turn these into down, up, starting with one note. Down, up, 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 down, up. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 2 E and a 3 and 3 and a 2 E and a 4 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a. See what I'm doing here? And eventually you'll get done with doing just the 4 notes on one, and you'll do 8th notes on each note. And guess what? By the time you're doing this, you won't even realize that you've sped up your process. Each note is super consistent. Your fingers are flowing on the fretboard. And then when you turn this alternated picking method of going down, up, your fingers feel good. And then when you turn it into individual notes, this is where our speed comes from. This is how we analyze how to doing spider exercises and then move them. How much is too much? When your hand starts to hurt, put down the instrument. When you've done it more than like 5, 10, 15 minutes in combination with spider exercises and your teeter-totters, and you can do your teeter-totters in whole notes and then half notes and then quarter notes, that's when we move on to actually other exercises. Those other exercises, just a quick preview, C major, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. All of these are the same scale, but they start with a different finger, but they cover the same 7 notes in the key as C major. C, D, E, F, G, no sharps, no flats. A minor and C major share the key signature of no sharps, no flats. So when we play in A minor, any of the notes we played in C major will absolutely work. With that being said, the only thing I really want you to do on that level is to be able to play a C major, be able to play a D minor, be able to play an E minor, an F major, a G major, an A minor. Here's how we play a B diminished. First finger on the B, second finger on the F, third finger on the D, and pinky wraps around for the B. What we're doing is we're not playing the outside E notes, and we're playing just the notes in the middle. B, D, F, B, D, B, F, D, and another B. And that resolves to C, the one. C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and C. The reference that I was trying to make is you could take any 5 chord of any chord and play that as a dominant chord, meaning you don't use the 1, you don't use the major 7th, but use the minor 7th, and that gives you the note you would play over the top. So if a G major had this tippy top G, when I move it down to an F sharp and play the same 1 and 3, and then move it to a minor 7th, I get a G7. Since I don't say things twice, I wouldn't say C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, G7, C. That's why we call G7 a B diminished. It's very close. It has the very similar thing, but I do want you to figure out how to play the B. And here's another way to get from it. If laying a finger on the B and then laying 2 bookends here and then putting this down doesn't work for you, try playing a D major, put it into second fingering, scoot it up, move it over horizontally, and then lay down your finger on the B. Same chord, just a different way to get to Rome. I hope today was really awesome. I know we took a little bit longer than needed, but the 3 takeaways from Spiders are: breathe, count and slow down by doing downstrokes and then upstrokes, and then combine those for both. Down, up is a great way to get into alternating. Keep that method up, going all the way to the top and then back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 24 times. You should do this for 5-10 minutes and see if your hand hurts. And if it doesn't, great. You're just building muscle memory. As far as your teeter-totters go, try and work on chords that are the bass chords that you saw. But as you also point out, you can play chords in a multitude of different ways. The last thing that I want to leave you on is just the chord structure for a blues groove. E major, A major, and then B major can all be played as a E7, removing the 3rd finger to get the D note, playing the A and removing the A note, not the C sharp, or G sharp rather, and leaving the G, gives us an A7. And if we do that same thing with our 3rd fingering group on the 4th fret with a bar, we get a B7. Now this same B7 can be played here by putting a 1st finger on the D sharp, playing the B note, and then the, what is that? The A. So when we play that little backwards chord, you could also see it as being a D major 7, D dominant 7. When we move the D dominant 7 horizontally, we get an A major 7. When we move it horizontal again, we get a B7. You can also lay down the pinky anywhere there if you want. A lot of people do, but that is your 5 chord played as the dominant. So what does that mean? E7, A7, B7, E. The chords we use: E in 1st position as a 7 chord, slide up a half step, but then remove this chord to put down your finger. You don't even need to move the finger. When we slide up another whole step, we remove that finger and reveal the same shape we played for the 1st thing, but we're doing it at the 4th fret. So we would have, and back to it. It's 3 lonely years we have been together. Girl had an understanding that we made it through stormy weather. When we go to the next kind of groove, it's going to be an A, but we're going to be playing an A7. I like to play it with my secondary fingering, so when I slide this up a whole step, I could remove this finger and lay down this shape, so I get that same feeling as this E, but we're gonna be playing on the B string and the D string. Then I'm gonna move it up a half step and lay down that finger. Thusly, the first shape and the last shape are the same in both keys. The middle shape's the weird one for both of them, but they're all the same in relativity to each other. So when we play that, we're just gonna end on a big old blaring B7 for our groove, and then an A7 and stop. And the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna slide all the way to the 11th on the D and put a finger on the B at the 10th. We're gonna pull that down a whole step. We're gonna pull that down another whole step, and then we're gonna put down our finger parallel. Pull down another whole step, and they're both parallel. Pull down a half step, but put down our 1st finger and remove, and then pull down another whole step and put down double. So parallel notes, non-parallel, parallel notes, parallel notes, non-parallel, non-parallel. It'll feel like this. All down strokes. Here's our A. What I'm doing over the top is playing the accent. 2 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a. See how I'm only playing on certain beats, but I'm playing out 16th notes. So other than blues, which is E7, A7, and B7, other than the lick of going to the 11th fret, playing on the 10 of the B, 11 on the D, 11 on the D, playing a 10 on the B, going to the 9 on the D, playing the 9 on the B, going to the 7 on the D, playing the 7 on the B, going to the 6 on the D, playing the 5 on the B, going to the 4 of the D, playing the 3 on the B, and then going to the 2 on the D and both the B, and then it goes back to the E. That's a wonderful A groove. Other than that, have fun playing around with that. We're going to talk about why all these notes are important, but the basic confine and construct of this blues groove can be played anywhere with those 3 notes, the 1, the 4, and the 5. They are notes in a progression in a key. So this is an E major blues groove. E major, A major, E7, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, get rid of the 2 and the 3. We still have 1, 4, and 5. A, B, and E. Awesome. Very nice seeing you today. Work on those spideys, work on those teeter-totters, moving them back and forth, and eventually the teeter-totters that we make down here, like a C major, will go up here, be barred, and that is what becomes your cage system. Cannot wait to explain that, but remember, when we work on this, work on one thing at a time. Also, we can also pick out any band that you like and then put that information together so we can start dissecting these songs. And in fact, might make it a thing on the YouTube channel that I enjoy doing. And if you want to join me, that'd be groovy too. Other than that, I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you again next week. Aloha!